paid.
You know, if a doctor's been in, you just had Dr. Gupta run, a very well-known orthopedic surgeon. You know, he has to do a number of new knees, a number of new hips, because they cut down payments, right?
Right.
And they can negotiate their contracts that says, okay, this is what we're going to pay you. And if you don't take the contract,
Go ahead.
if you don't take the contract, you know, you say, okay, where am I going to get paid? So they'll take whatever they can get along. And some panels, some contracts, they're not even authorizing anybody. People say, well, why don't you take HMO contracts? Because you can't get them, right?
Right.
Because the panels aren't open.
I see.
They'll limit to some, like Humana limits to one group. They then job out all those people to somebody else, and it's a big entanglement, right? So when you're looking to say, I want home health or I need home health, right, where do you call? Well, my suggestion is call All County Healthcare.
Yeah.
It's the concierge of home health. You're going to get concierge service, trust me. I know Maddie. Maddie's here. She's here every week, and I can tell you, she watches her patients like no one else.
That's great. Maddie can be reached at 954-717-7027. If you have any questions in regards to healthcare, please reach out to All County Health. They will answer any of your questions. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Lou, for being a guest tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Our sponsor for the show, Lou with All County Health.
And thanks for being on a number of weeks, and I hope that some of the people have got some knowledge from all our doctors.
I hope so, too. Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Signing off, guys. See you next week.
Thank you for letting us share with you a longer and healthier lifestyle. If you have a doctor or are a doctor and wish to be on the show, call AMP2 TV at 866-244-5422, and we will put you on the air as soon as possible. Tune in next week for more information on living longer and having a healthier life.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers.
561-819-6325 or injectpainaway.com.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
If you're into rainbows and butterflies and enjoy sugar-coated parenting advice, if you use social media with the hashtag blessed under your significant other on a daily basis, if your child speaks 4 languages before their first birthday and is on the cusp of curing world hunger, this is not the show for you. But if you're a real parent, living in the real world, working, hustling, and just managing to get through every day, you've come to the right place. Join Michelle Dempsey and Rachel Sobel, the realest moms on the block, every Tuesday night as we dive deep into the topics and conversations that everyone else avoids. We're the Keep It Real moms, honest, hilarious, and only slightly censored. Serious?
Yeah, I know. I'm not. Hi, guys.
Hi, we're back.
We're back. It's been weeks and weeks, right?
I know. We got hit with the holiday.
Vacation.
Yeah, there was just a lot going on.
Lots of traveling, lots of things.
Yep.
Fireworks.
Yep.
Well, we're about to create some fireworks of our own, aren't we?
We are.
Rachel Sobel.
But should we talk a little bit first before we just
I don't know.
Go for it? I think we should.
We're hyping up tonight's show with our big announcement. You don't want to give it all the way up front.
No, because everyone's going to be like, oh, that's it. And they're going to be gone.
It was kind of a big deal.
It's a very big deal. But I feel like, you're here. You're joining us.
I think the first thing we need to do is point out the fact that we didn't plan our outfits.
We did not. But we are so in sync.
We are Justin Timberlake and Joey Fatone. What we are.
We are. I'm Justin Timberlake.
I'll be Joey.
Fine. We are wearing the choker shirts.
We are wearing choker shirts. We look like a couple of hot flight attendants.
We do.
We are wearing ripped jeans.
And wedges. It's like the summer uniform.
But that's my daily uniform. Although I don't always wear a choker.
I don't dress cute. You're lucky if I change. If I leave the house.
You've got your hands full.
I do.
You've got your hands full.
I got my hands full.
Well, I too have my hands full, but in kind of a different way. And I'm liking what's in these hands. I'm not going to lie. It's good stuff in these hands. I feel like we've been jumping through hoops to get here and to get back on the air and get life back to normal. But here we are.
It's crazy.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But there's something I think we need to discuss, and it's very relevant to all aspects of life right now. When you get to that point where you just decide, I'm going to make a decision for me, no matter who it affects, or how others might feel, or how others might judge me, you know, because judging is big, you know. And so I think that it's important we talk about what it takes to get to that point and how to handle it.
To actually pull the trigger and make a decision.
To get to a crossroads,
Yeah.
in any capacity, whether it's to leave a job, leave a friendship, leave a marriage, leave a radio show, whatever it is. I think that it's important that, you know, you get to a point in your life where you feel empowered enough to do so. Because how many of us stay stuck? Like,
I think we think of, in all those scenarios you just described, personal and professional, I think we can all find a million reasons to not do something. Fear, you know, not feeling empowered, not feeling like you'll have support, being judged, all the laundry list of things that are in our heads telling us not to do something.
Yes.
But at some point you have to be comfortable with yourself and maybe even not be comfortable, but just take a risk and pull that trigger. And think about you and I forget about personal lives for a second, just in our professional lives and all the things we've talked about on this show, leaving full-time paying jobs and going off on our own and doing our own thing. Think about how many times we probably had those internal conversations. Getting ourselves to leave and then saying it out loud to friends and family and partners and whatever, having those like ad nauseum, having those conversations until you finally get the guts to do something. And then when you do it, don't you kind of look back and go, I can't believe it took me so long to do that?
yes, and all the agonizing and all, for me, it's always been like seeking others' approval. Like, what's the response I get if I just throw this potential idea to make such a big decision out there? Then I gauge whether or not I should do it based on people's feedback, which, and I've said it 100 times, had I chosen to do things the way others thought I should do them, I never would have left my full-time job as a teacher. I'd still be miserable. I wouldn't have built a business. Everyone told me I was crazy to do so. I finally had to bite the bullet and say, all right, if I'm crazy, let me find out on my own.
Well, I think sometimes you listen to your gut, right? And you do what your gut tells you to do. And sometimes you just take a chance and you take a risk and you do what may not feel safe, but where there's a big reward for you in the end game. And I think that that's what this is all about. I think that's why we do this show. I think it's partially because we want people to understand that we are relatable. We left jobs, we left situations personally. We've done a lot of things that a lot of people, I think, in the back of their heads go, oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I, but why can't you? You can. We're no different than anybody else. We just one day woke up in a lot of respects in our lives and said, that's it, I'm done.
Right. And so some people wait their whole lives to get to the point where they can wipe their hands clear of the BS and just be done with it. But, I pat myself on the back, and you too, Rachel, for being brave and taking that step. I can't hold it in anymore.
You can't?
I'm only 5 minutes in. No, I'm going to hold it in. I'll hold it in.
Just a little longer. Just a little longer.
Look, I'm constantly, I left my marriage. I'm separated. That's no secret now. And so I'm constantly bombarded with the like, but why? And how'd you come to the decision? And when it first happened, my phone rang from really random people, like picking my brain, like, well, how'd you come to the decision? And what did you do? And it's like, you could tell that these were people probably in the same place trying to make the same decision. And so I feel now as an adult woman, now I'm a mom and I've left a marriage and my life is starting over in a different way. I'm constantly grilled for my decisions.
But you're going to be. And the funny thing is I find there's two classes of people that come out when you make a big life change, whether it's personal or professional. There's the people, like you said, who in the back of their head, maybe they're experiencing something similar and they want to know what it took for you to finally make that decision. And they're genuinely trying to connect with you to figure out if they're there yet. Because I had a lot of that too, where people were like, how did you know? In both ways, professional and business-wise. How did you know? What did it take to make that decision?
Everything.
And then there's the gossips. There's the people who you get messages from going, hey, I haven't spoken to you in 10 years.
Hey, I love your shoes. Where are they from? So who are you dating now?
Right. I haven't spoken to you in 10 years, but I noticed that there haven't been a lot of pictures of your husband on your Facebook page.
If I showed you my feed right now, that's all I get.
And those are like the Inspector Gadgets who just can't help themselves and they can't wait to go back to the little circles and be like, guys, guess what? And those are the people you ignore.
Well, the best is the ones who are just straight up with it, like, hey, heard you're separated, heard you're getting divorced. And it's like, really, from whom? Because I don't even know who you are.
Right.
That's interesting.
Right.
Thanks.
And the same thing happens professionally and I'm sure you had the same thing when I left my job and I made the announcement that I was going to be writing and blogging full time and then taking some freelance work. I got so many private messages from people who were like, but what did you do? Weren't you scared about insurance? And weren't you scared about, not having a steady paycheck? Yes and yes. Of course you are. But
the difference is, yes, I was scared too, because for me it was the consistency, and for anyone who's leaving a
Absolutely.
regular paycheck and benefits, good benefits, my health insurance is through the roof because I'm a sole proprietor. I'm paying for myself and my kid right now, and it's a lot of money, but at the same time, it's motivation to get out there and not just have an idea, to run with it and make something of it.
Well, and listen, those jobs that if you feel like you're not a 9-to-5 person, you're not. Some people are built for it, and some people are great at it, and some people thrive in those environments. But I think if you're not one of those people, and it's okay to be either one. Neither one is right or wrong. It's what makes you happy, and you should always do what makes you happy. But when you decide to take that jump to leave, you do it with risks attached, to know that some months are going to be better than others. Sometimes you're going to bang your head against a table. Sometimes you're going to have a paying client. There's a lot. And then you have your whole personal life and how that affects it. And there's just a lot to take in. But I loved that you brought up the topic for today of, not being able to please everyone and finally just making those decisions. It's a theme in all of our lives, I think, to some degree. I think all of us have those decisions we're sitting on, going, I don't know, having children, leaving a marriage, getting married again, leaving a job. You sit there and you go, when is the right time? There's no right time. There's no right time.
And the second part of that, too, for me is, I talk about empowerment and blah, blah, blah. And with that comes the idea that I could just do it all. Like, give it to Michelle. She'll figure it out. Michelle can do it. Michelle's strong enough. I've now burnt myself out. And I'm proud to admit that. Like, I've woken up the last couple of months and I'm like, well, geez, something's got to give. I can't do all the things. I can't single parent. I can't run a business. I can't have a radio show. I can't do all of these things that demand so much of me and do them well. Like, you have to get to a point where you're confident enough in your abilities to know that something can fall back and something needs to fall back. When you feel like that sort of pressure, like, I'm trying to do all the things for all the people, you gotta really, you can't be scared to bow down once in a while.
Nothing's going to happen if you put something off or you even say no to something. Nothing's going to the world is not going to implode. You're not going to lose your business. It's just that's the other thing too, is part of being on your own and having your own business and running your life and doing everything. Part of it is learning, like we've talked about and like you've written about, learning to say no, but also learning when to say yes and learning when to, when is the right time to do either of those. And it's different for everybody. You can't follow someone else's model and do the exact same thing they're doing because you're not living their life. And I think that's the biggest thing too, is people look at you and they say, okay, well, she's doing it, and they try and copy it like a template. And it's never going to be the same. You can pull from someone's experience and get really, really good advice, but everyone walks their own path.
Right.
And you have to figure out where yours goes and how you do it, to make yourself happy.
I get a lot of emails or messages from people who want to girls, I think, who are starting out blogging, building websites, trying to find their own sort of passive income strategies or online marketing thing that will hit me up to have coffee. And so once in a while, if I have the time, I'm like, sure, let's go. I'm happy to chat.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. They want to pick my brain. They want to be motivated. They're desperate for someone to tell them, yeah, do it. It's going to be great.
Right.
And I always say, it's not going to be great.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
Like, unless you figure out a way within 5 minutes to make a ton of money, it's not going to be great. So I don't know, like, people are waiting for like that magic push.
But you need people in your life like that who are realistic with you. And I think I've told you, I don't think I've discussed it on air, but off air, we have someone we know in common, Stacey Bogum from the Happiness Agenda. I told her when I was miserable, I was in tears, I was like, I have to leave my job. It's stealing my soul. I can't take it. Most of my friends were like, yeah, do it. She was the one who said to me, no. You can't leave your job yet. You have to have a plan in place. And it doesn't have to be solid, but you have to know once you walk out those doors what your life is going to look like. You need to have conversations with Jason about finances. Like, you need to talk about all these adult things before you just
the most
stamp your foot.
uncomfortable things.
Yeah, and leave. And she was so right. And I didn't want to listen to it. I was like, I want her to, she's all about empowerment. I wanted her to say to me, yeah, girl, go for it. And she didn't. And she put me in check. And I was like, oh my God, she's right. And I spent those next several months really getting my business in order and, talking to Jason about how we were going to run the household and what was going to change and what we needed to do. And those are important things that it takes more than just having a conversation and coffee and getting the courage to do it.
Well,
you have to have your house in order.
In the interest of transparency, I didn't do any of those things. But I knew my pride. I had so much pride that I couldn't fail because of all the people that told me I would. So that was really my only motivating factor, was like, well, here I go. I just better not put my foot in my mouth here. And so I had to work backwards to build the strategies, but I thrive under pressure. Some people don't. Either way, we still didn't make our big announcement.
No.
And we're going to break.
Okay, so we'll do it after the break.
We'll do it after the break.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to come.
Yes.
Right, guys? All right. We'll see you soon. Thanks for being here with us. Thank you for listening to Babes in Business. I am your number one babe in business, your host, Michelle Dempsey of Very Well Written, the business I founded to help other entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground with great content, strategy, branding, social media, editing, and anything in the way of words. I've got you covered, www.michelledempsey.com, or you can call me at 305-469-7500. Don't forget to tune in every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock to join me and a fellow babe in business talk all things business. Can't wait to see you there.
Hi, this is Rachel Sobel.
And this is Michelle Dempsey. And you're listening to the Keep It Real Moms.
Okay.
Oh, hey. So I'm not on my phone checking how many people are watching the show. No, I'm not. Well, here we are, second half of what is, and I'm going to say it, our very last show.
Yes. Well, let's be clear.
On 95.3
Our very last
FM.
show here.
Our very last
You're
show
not
here.
getting rid of us.
No, you're not. We're like that. Sorry. You can't get rid.
But you know, I think
There's no cure for us.
We should give some context into this too. Many of you who are watching this show here may not realize that when Michelle and I first met and fell in love, our first project together was a podcast that we started on our own.
Called the Keep It Real Moms.
Right.
At that time, I was the host of the Babes in Business show, which was this show right here, Tuesday nights.
Right.
And at a certain point, we were getting so much feedback from our podcast, and we just so loved our dynamic together that we thought, why not put it on the radio?
Yeah.
Great idea, except she just had a baby. I moved to Miami. Now we're in Boca shooting. And you and I are basically jumping through hoops every week to make this happen.
We are, and it's hard. And I think part of it, too, is what we first of all, we blow through this. We blow through this time, and I feel like there's so many things we don't cover. And I think that one thing about the Keep It Real Moms that bound us when we started talking about it was we went in so many different directions, and it's hard to do that in a half an hour, and it's hard to do that sitting across from each other like this at the same time when I'm getting a sitter
also can't curse.
We can't curse, and we love
It's
to
so
curse.
hard.
We love to curse because nothing is more real than that, and I feel like there are just some times where it calls for it. It calls for a good swear, but our roots are that podcast. That was our baby. We birthed it together. And I think that we want to go back to that format. So it's not about, there's nothing negative about leaving here. I think we just miss that connection that we had when we first started.
And let me be clear. Let's come full circle here.
Yes.
So the thought is leave a radio show for a podcast. What's wrong with you? Well, let me tell you what's wrong with us. What's wrong with us is we can't do things because they look better for other people anymore. We have to do things. We're moms. We're business people first and foremost.
Right.
We have to cater to our own personal lives before anything else. So
I think it feels like that old pair of jeans that you really want to get back into. That's what the podcast is for us. It's comfortable.
we're there again.
We're
back in our jeans.
We're back in our skinny jeans.
Yes, we are.
And I think that what you can expect is a lot of the same stuff that we talk about here, but much more unfiltered, much more uncensored for sure, probably longer. And I think that we really thrive on not having a very tight format. We thrive more on going off on those tangents and seeing where they take us and exploring that, and maybe looking at having guests and looking at doing it in different places and just having the flexibility. I think one of the things that you and I love about being on our own is that flexibility, and it is very hard logistically for both of us to come here every week. And I don't think everyone realizes behind the scenes, it looks like, oh, we're here, our hair is done, the makeup's done, and we just showed up. There's sitters and there's traffic
There's
and
custody,
there's just a lot.
There's time sharing.
There's a lot of
traffic.
stuff.
There's 2 hours in the car.
Yeah.
There's,
So it makes sense for us, and we hope that you'll continue to listen. And it's going to be a little bit different because it won't be live on the radio, but it will still be Facebook Live. We'll still do a live stream, and you'll be able to watch it and listen to it on things like SoundCloud, and all of our social will update you. So just stay tuned for all that stuff, but it'll still be us being us, which I think is the most important thing, and keeping it real, which is why we started doing this in the first place, was to have these very open conversations. And so I'm very much looking forward to going back to our roots.
Are you getting emotional?
A little bit.
Really?
Not like I'm going to cry, but I mean, it's exciting because
Listen, for
that's
me,
what,
change is always, like, when I love when I get to a point in anything with this, like, when you and I had the conversation, we were like, okay, you know what? It's logistically, we got to make our lives
And it
easier.
happened fast. We didn't talk about this.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
When
we
you
just
get
had-
to a decision process,
Yeah.
or you make that decision, like, it's a great feeling because it's like, okay, on to the next. We all have so many problems. On to the next thing. So for me, when it comes to a point where I make a decision about anything, I'm always very excited about it because
Yeah.
I know that if I feel so strongly about something, it's going to be that good. You know.
Well, you and I are in this together, and I think that the most
I love those words.
we are. We're in it together, and I think part of what made it so easy is when we had this conversation, which was only this week, right? It was. We haven't been
Wasn't
plotting
it this morning?
I thought it was yesterday. Was it this morning?
No, it was yesterday. It all feels like
This
one
wasn't
big day.
being plotted for like weeks, and we were like, oh, we're going to have a big reveal. Like, this happened yesterday, and I think that because you and I talked about it and we're immediately on the same page, and neither one of us had to convince the other person about making the right or wrong decision, I think we knew at that point, okay, this is good. This is the direction we want to go, because we both immediately were at the same place.
Right.
So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be interesting to go back to the original format. You'll be hearing us flap gums a lot longer than a half an hour. And we'll have
There's
some
a
fun
lot
with
to
it.
say.
There's a lot
There's
to
a lot to
say.
say.
It's definitely not going to be as business focused. It's going to be much more real life focused, I think, and with a little bit of everything in there. And we want to know what you guys want us to talk about. I think one of the biggest things we probably heard feedback wise here was that time wise it was difficult for a lot of our audience because they were putting kids to bed and doing all that stuff, and so most people caught us on the replay. So for those people it won't change because they'll just listen to the podcast after, but we want to know what people want us to discuss.
The best thing about a podcast is you can listen in your car.
can listen in your car.
I love podcasting in the car. And so
you can listen on the treadmill.
You can listen on the treadmill.
And listen wherever you want.
Yes, that's a good point.
Wherever you want.
But I want to talk about the fact that we can kind of expand what it is that we need to talk about, because I feel like you and I are both going through so many things all at once. Is that Arlene? It's Arlene.
Oh, it's my mom.
Oh, Arlene.
Wouldn't be a show without a call from Arlene.
Birthday girl.
Listen,
We've got a caller.
Why don't you film from my balcony?
I don't ever.
I mean, Mom,
you never cease to amaze me with the ideas. I'm coming.
No, we will do a show from Arlene's. We will.
Balcony.
We're going to do a show from Moe's. We'll do a show from Moe's with Arlene.
We will do.
We've got a
We're
lot
going to
of
go all
places.
over the place.
Oh, no. There's lots of places, but I can't wait. I think it's going to be awesome because I can't wait to curse.
Oh, you can't wait to curse with your.
What
Are you
got
eating
it from my mama.
Did you make a dip tonight, Arlene?
I'm not going to tell you what I'm eating right now. I just raced in the house from Rachel's house. I was babysitting all day.
Yeah, she was.
So what are you eating?
I'm not going to tell. My daughter will kill me.
I want to know.
I'm eating 2 cheeseburgers without the meat.
She goes to McDonald's through the drive-thru, and my mom is like a pseudo-vegetarian, so she's like, "Can I have 2 cheeseburgers with everything but hold the meat?" And they're like, "I'm sorry, what?" Everything.
Arlene, seriously?
Yeah, that's what she does.
You couldn't slap some tomatoes and pickles on a bun at home?
No, that's all on it. No. I like to go get the grease from McDonald's.
She likes
and
the
whatever.
Yeah.
But
She likes the
that's what I'm
McDonald's
all
grease.
about. But,
Tomato.
we're going from my balcony, okay?
All right, we'll be on your balcony whenever you want us.
We'll
You know
have
you're my
some
neighbor.
fun.
Yes.
Okay, sweetie. All right, girls.
Thanks, Mom. Love you.
Love you.
both with your choker T-shirt.
Is this not the most ridiculous
I
thing?
know, it's ridiculous.
You know what I think we should do if we're going to be doing our podcasts and Facebook
Dress
Live?
alike?
We need to have a standard something, like a shirt.
Why
Let's
can't we get shirts made?
Let's get shirts made. I mean,
I know just the girl.
who? Danny Zoe Tees. Oh my God, Danielle. Danny Zoe is Shira Anapolsky, her daughter Danielle, and her daughter Zoe, her new baby, who's almost the same age as Sienna.
Yep.
She combined the names and made Danny Zoe Tees, and she makes the sweetest little.
If you, both
baby
of us have
clothes.
posted. If you follow on my Wine and Cheeses on Instagram, I posted a shirt of Sienna the other day from her that said Cribside, cutest. She makes really cute stuff. So I think that maybe some shirts from her for our.
We're commissioning you, Shira. You hear
Yes.
that? You got to do it.
Yes. You've seen our logo. It's a grill with some, painted lips. Use that as inspiration and let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I think we need T-shirts, and then we
Yes.
just need to wear maybe bright red lipstick or something. I mean,
I'm down.
whatever.
Do we need grills?
No, I don't.
Okay.
If that's on you.
I don't know.
Speaking of grills, I'm putting in some porcelain next month.
Are you?
Yeah.
Veneers?
Yeah.
Like the whole
No,
shebang?
no. Just where you need them. You know
All
what I'm
right.
saying?
Just don't come out looking like Matt Dillon from Something About Mary, all right?
I will try not to.
You know that? You know what I'm talking
I will
about?
try
Where
not
he's
to. Yeah, no, that's no.
Don't do that.
Girl, please. I've been plotting this for a while. I'm really excited.
That's exciting.
You know you're getting old when you're like excited about new teeth. Some people go get boobs.
Yeah.
Some people get some Botox. Well,
Yeah.
I do that too. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie. Thank you, Precision Skin Institute.
I can't wait. I cannot wait until I'm done breastfeeding for Botox.
Really?
Yeah.
I just don't. Okay. I mean, but if you're going to do it here, how does it affect?
Because you're putting it in your body.
Botulism in your body.
I can't feed my baby botulism.
But you eat a whole bunch of weird stuff that you don't know you're eating, by the way.
Yeah,
but whatever.
but, you know,
whatever.
I can't
You
purposely
need to be
do that.
comfortable.
I can't do that, but it's going to happen.
But I have to thank Precision Skin Institute. I was there yesterday. Everybody knows
That's
at this
where I go
point,
too.
They are a wonderful client of mine. We've been together for about a year. They are killing it, and I'd like to say a lot of that is because of my strategy, and I'm very proud of that.
They do have a beautiful office.
They have a beautiful
and they are
facility.
lovely women. Lovely.
Cosmetic, medical, surgical. So you can go there for a facial. You can go there to have a spot removed. You can go there for Botox. You can go there for, you want a little plumping up.
They
you know
do
what I'm
it
saying?
all.
They do it all. So I was there yesterday for most of my morning. It's a little refresher, you know, little injection. I have a big scar on
Listen,
my nose.
don't
Had
give
to
it
have
all
something
away.
removed.
Don't give
Well,
away
I
all
don't
your
care.
secrets.
I'm very
Don't
transparent.
give away all your secrets.
It's just a needle, and it's just some Botox.
Maybe we should do live Botox.
I freak out. Like,
Why? Because the bumps?
No. When the needle comes near me, I'm like, I start like
close
twitching.
your eyes.
No, it's the worst.
No,
And
you're
filler?
crazy.
Have you had filler?
No. I've only
That
ever done Botox one
is-
time.
I highly suggest you do it if you want to look good, but pain is definitely beauty.
no, I don't wanna
Beauty is
do that.
pain
I don't wanna do
because
that.
it goes under the bone. Oh my God.
No. I'm not into. I like a little refreshing. Get rid of the 11s. You know,
Yeah.
get rid of this situation. That's it. I'm good. That's all I need. So what possible things do you think that we should talk about on our is it like our re-inaugural podcast? Like how are we? What?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, but I think the sky's the limit.
Sky is
Rachel.
the
I have
sky.
a lot
Was that a
of
pun
things.
because of our flight attendant?
No, but
Go-
I
the
love that you
sky's
made that
the limit.
connection. It's like a subconscious like ode to our ridiculous outfits.
Yeah. Are you also on Cloud 9 right now?
No, but I'm part of the Mile High Club.
Your mother's gonna be very mad if
I don't think she knows what that is.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not. I'm not because that's just
You
seems
just wanted
dirty
to
and
use it. I
uncomfortable.
know. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It smells like I'm good.
You
Yeah, I try to avoid going by myself on a flight.
I mean, you can't wait till you get to a hotel.
Right. If you are that desperate, good luck to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. No
I don't
me
want to be
gusta.
on that flight with you.
No me gusta.
You're going to get stuck. Then
Yeah.
the people are going to have to come onto the plane before we can exit the plane. Then you're the idiot who tried to get laid in the bathroom. Like
Yeah.
that's not for me.
Not a good situation.
That's probably what we could talk about
Okay.
on our show.
Okay.
Odd places
Okay.
to,
okay.
engage in lewd acts,
Okay.
stuff like that. But
All right.
but I don't
See,
know.
we could never talk about stuff like that here.
Right. Well, we could. It just wouldn't be.
You can't have censored conversations about that. You have to be able to like let your freak flag fly and like.
let that freak flag fly.
Well,
I feel like you're like pent up in there.
No, I don't mean it like that. I mean like be able to talk openly. Like you can't be worried about every like word that you're going to say and getting in trouble.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. I think that will be a breath of fresh air.
Getting in trouble is not on the
I don't
agenda
enjoy
for us
it.
at
I
this
don't wanna
point.
get in
No,
trouble.
I mean, look, we've got enough going on. Speaking of stuff going on,
Yes.
you, my dear, are
Yes.
pitching a new something you wrote.
I am. I don't want to. I'm not going to talk about what it is 'cause it's very personal to me. But it took me a long time to write about, and I'm hoping that it gets published. And it's a very everything I write is a piece of me because everything I write is obviously autobiographical.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to write this piece, and so fingers crossed. Hopefully, it gets published somewhere.
I think it will. I think you're a beautiful writer.
Thank
and I, too, have been putting them out. My FitJoy article got a lot of good feedback, a ton more feedback than I put a lot of articles out. And this one happened to get a lot of, I got a lot of texts and calls and messages and people really connecting with what I wrote. So I'm now taking it one step further. I'm taking that piece and turning it into a whole webinar series. And I'm really excited
Awesome.
about that. And I just wrote a piece that my lovely publicist, Erica Berman of Jane Lane Creative, thank you for being who you are, is now shopping around for me because I too just opened up about something.
I can't. I read it and it's amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. It felt like therapy
Yes,
writing it.
yes.
God, for those of you who don't write and you really just need
do
like
it. It
keep
is.
a journal. It is
Yes.
the most therapeutic.
It is.
I felt like I was exercising the demons today. I wrote it at the hair salon in 20 minutes.
But that's when the best stuff happens.
all my best writing at the salon.
Yep.
Thank you, Divine Hair Salon, for the inspiration.
Tell everyone where to find us on social, because now
We are now on the Keep It Real Moms on Instagram. Find us, follow us. If you are local, we would love to actually feature you on our podcast. So get in touch with us. We love you guys. Thank you for being part of our audience. I am Michelle Dempsey.
I am Rachel Sobel.
And we are the Keep It Real Moms.
And just like that, tonight's episode has come to an end, and not because we want it to. Trust me, if you haven't noticed, we would go on and on about anything. But if we're going to keep it really real, we're tired. We've been momming, working, hustling, and catering to our littlest people all at the same time, all day long. It's time for a glass of wine, some trashy TV, and leggings. Until next week, we are the Keep It Real Moms.